Hello. Wow, this is pretty cool. You're listening to Six Music with me, Russell Howard. That's my first ever link, and hopefully that went well. I'm here with my friends John.
Hello.
And my friend Sam.
How are you doing?
And as the show goes on, you'll learn more about us. But this is our first day, so bear with us. It's quite exciting and a little bit weird to be replacing a heartthrob. If anyone's tuning in expecting to listen to Russell, it's the only job I've ever had where I've had to literally take over from a sex symbol. Like when I was working at Tesco, I never had any of those problems, you know? Just like, oh, you're the new trolley boy. That's right. Heard about Sexy Steve? What? Yeah, he had sex with thousands of ladies once. He had sex with 9 girls whilst pushing a trolley. And he picks up club cards. He's a good guy. So, if you're expecting Russell, he's now on Radio 2. It's now me, but it's going to be fun. Coming up on today's show, we've got, what have we got? We've got Am I Normal, which is basically where you can text in or email. Hey, John, what can they text us on?
They can text us on 64046.
Or email us on russell.sixmusic@bbc.co.uk. And Adam, who's our producer, you'll get to know him. Can you turn my headphones down a bit? It's really loud.
I can, is that better?
Yeah, that's much better. See? Pretty slick. We run a pretty slick ship here.
Got it already.
What you didn't see there is Adam reach for a button that is right in front of Russell and turn the headphones down a little bit.
Yeah, well, I don't know those buttons, do I? You know, it's not as if we haven't done hours of rehearsing and it went really badly on the first link. That doesn't matter. But yeah, coming up on the show, we've got a thing called Am I Normal, which is basically, you know, those things you do in life where there's little quirks. Like John's got loads of them. He keeps a list of all the stuff he does every day. We're going to get into those things, and you can text us in or email us in with the things that you do, and you hope that someone else does it, and then we can sort of have like a community of quirky freaks. Hopefully, we've got time travel. Where could we go, and all stuff like that. Did I really think that? Overheard conversation. We've got Hero of the Week. It's going to be very exciting. But the first cool thing, we're about to play our very first song ever on the radio. Who's excited?
I'm excited.
I'm excited.
It's going to be really cool. Here we go. Little dog. Right, what's going on there?
Yeah, well, you know, you will leave me alone with the buttons, you'll pay the price.
Right. So, it's probably time you should meet everyone who's going to help me. Now, this is my friend Sam.
How you doing? Morning.
Now, I first fell in love with Sam. There's a better way of putting that, but that's what I thought.
No, it's great.
The thing that I wanted to... I was just thinking, how do you describe the person that you're doing the show with? Now, the best thing to describe Sam is that he faked his own death on Friends Reunited. I think Christmas 2001, so that sums it up. You can check that out, Perrin's Community School, and maybe...
There is an update, the body's gone.
Oh, really? Is that right? You definitely got...
Sad stuff.
Now, there's an even nicer story. Now, my friend John, I've only known John for a while, but the thing that really swung it with you, was two things. So the first of all, I found out age 6 you had your own business.
Yeah, that's true.
That's correct.
Start early.
And it's such a lovely story. I don't know if you know this, Sam. We haven't spoken about this. John had a business when he was 6. Do you want to tell Sam what it is?
No, I think you do it far more elaborately than I would.
Brilliant, right. So his mum is really great. His mum had a few G&Ts and was telling me a really great story, that her son John ran a pretty tight ship when he was 6. He had a post office underneath his bed, and his friend Barry, or Terry, whatever his name was, had... Lee, that's right. He had he ran the library in the hall.
Oh, no, Lee ran the shop, Sheldon ran the library in the hall.
Sheldon ran the library. So Lee on shop, Sheldon on library, and you probably think that's it, you know, they work hard. Do they play hard? They do, they play very hard. They all had wives. Tell them who your wives were.
Do you mean the names or what they represented?
Names first of all, and then I'll do the representation.
My wife was Erica Eleniak, who played Shawnee in Baywatch.
Age 6, not a bad wife for a 6-year-old.
Yeah, I'm doing alright there. I'm pulling above my weight, to be honest.
What it actually was a pillow. And what happened, his mum told me, she went, "Oh, it was such a fright. I remember I came in one morning and I was expecting maybe just to get some stamps, and there you see it, my son's rotting a pillow, shouting, 'Oh, Erica, Erica.'"
Well, that simply never happened, did it?
It might have happened.
She never caught me rotting the pillow. I never wrapped the pillow. The pillow was merely...
Do you know what, you never made it with your wife?
Do you know, I was 6 years old, and I saw her very much in a different way than as a sexual being. Basically, I saw her as a pillow, but I had an imagination.
Oh, but I quite like that, but you all had wives. Did you go on day trips?
No, we were too busy running the business.
Obviously.
Do you know what I mean? Business ain't going to run itself, Russell. You live in a dream world. I had work to do. And she was there to make sure that when I got home, there was feathers on the table.
So how was the first day at the post office, anyway?
Oh, it was a right nightmare. Well, Beryl was late, for a start.
Christ.
But I forgot she didn't have any legs, because she was a pillow as well, so I had to go and pick her up.
Hang on, so that's horrific. So there was a lady you could have married, but you all went out and married celebrity pillow ladies, and yet Beryl was just an ordinary pillow lady.
Yeah,
She's got to be crushed.
No office romance or anything like that?
Well, Beryl was in the post office when I took over, and we didn't have the heart to get rid of it, because it was a rural community.
That's good of you, that's good of you.
Yeah, I'm a good guy, I'm a good guy.
Oh, your mum told me that. She went, "Yeah, it's so lovely, he's kept Beryl on, because really, she's got nothing. But like I say, I caught him rotting. Good doggy. He was doing it jogging.
Oh, this is a disgusting image. My mum's listening, Russell.
Hello, John's mum, how are you? Hope you're very well. Sorry for
She's
the...
been sick into her cornflakes now.
Sorry for the lies. You'll get used to that. Now, we're going to talk about first days, because this is pretty freaky for us, because we're at Six Music, and like, I'm a stand-up comic, John's a stand-up comic, my friend Sam is a writer, and, you know, we've never done something like this, and it's pretty cool to be here, but it's genuinely quite cool here at Six Music. Everyone's got very tight jeans, really funky haircuts, and we've pretty much rocked up like the Matalan crew on the first day, never looking as scummy. It was terrifying, didn't you think that?
Yeah.
There was a band that we'd never heard of. I called Vincent Villains and the...
Vincent and the Villains.
Vincent and the Villains.
Remember
yeah.
where you almost heard it first?
Yeah, that was good, wasn't it? Slick. But they looked great, didn't they? Kind of scowled all cool at us.
Yeah.
And we didn't really know what to do, we just put our hands in our pockets. Hello. Yeah, you're the new JJ. Yeah. Are you like Russell Brand? Not really, no, he's had sex with a lot more girls than me, he's more flamboyant and likeable. Right. Yeah. It was great. Now, so we're talking about first dates. Now, Sam, what's the worst or best first date
I'm
experience?
genuinely rubbish with first days.
Yeah.
I mean, my first day at school was rubbish. I ran back to my mum like everyone.
Did you?
But yeah, I was pretty much a big wuss. But I had a job
High
in-
school, eh?
Hey,
Yeah,
hey,
secondary school. I ain't got no shame for that.
John ran back to his mum, but that was just to pick up Beryl.
She's an important
She
part
needed
of life.
respite care at that time,
Did
Russell,
your-
so I'll thank you to
That's
leave
quite
her alone.
interesting. Did you get dropped off with your mum and Erica on your first day?
No.
Okay.
That
What a
would be
lovely...
savage. That would have been properly savage. Well, I did a job at the prison, which didn't
Right,
go
you're going to
so
have
well.
to go into that in more depth. You just
Alright,
came
the
out of nowhere
prison
then.
is pretty general. It was Winchester Prison, where I've grown up, and it was a year.
Again, Sammy,
Again,
you're gonna have
I'm
to
not
explain
selling
that.
myself here. No, I grew up in Winchester, and the local prison there was a lovely job, just sort of helping out builders at our local prison. And the first day you get the tour, which was fine for the first 2 wings. They're really not up to much, the prisoners by and large. But by the time
Right. I hope they're not listening.
Oh, dear.
That was a come
Yeah.
on from what sounded like the prisoners in Winchester. They're not up to-
downbeat, I tell you,
They're not to-
nothing to offer.
Absolutely. So what happened on the
We
first
went to
day?
the women's prison and it got very savage, very savage. They're properly scary in the women's prison.
I heard
Properly.
They ripped apart a pillow. Now, John, your first date.
My worst first day was university.
Yep.
Because you've got enough to deal with at university, because it's like 7 things at once, isn't it? You're moving away from home, you're moving in on your own for the first time with other people, you're changing cities, and you fill out that personal statement, and they ask you...
So you're
what-
going Lancaster to Bristol.
I'm
aren't you?
going Lancaster to Bristol, yeah. I arrive in Bristol, having filled out a form that says what you into, will put you in a flat with people who like that. So I put,
Yeah.
I like a football, I like a drink, I like a rugby, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
I like a business.
I get to Bristol University, 3 out of 5 of my flatmates are already in there, all sat in the kitchen talking what I can only describe as horsel tongue, talking about horses and stirrups and saddles and modes.
that is-
I wasn't really listening.
I've got a lovely... Exactly, there you go. There's your first problem. I love the idea that one of them might mention horse. Ah, bloody hell, here we go. I've got rugby on my letter.
Yeah, but I don't know why they thought, oh, well, there's a man who clearly likes a drink and is clearly quite athletic. He'll get on with 3 wide-backed girls who like riding around on horses of a weekend.
It's because you drawn a picture of yourself throwing a rugby ball and you catch form looking all muscular. It's horrible, though, that because you never know.
But you're living with them for a year, and as a result, I ran out of the flat and looked for anyone at my halls of residence with a football top on and pretty much sexually assaulted a man who I'm pleased to say is now my friend Adam, but that could have really I pretty much groped him on the stairs and said, football, yeah, football, you into football, yeah, innit? And he said, yes, and then we made friends.
I was unlucky enough. I lived with a warden on my first day at uni. Not on the first day for the whole year, you know, it's that high. And he was quite a nice bloke, but his opening lines, it was just really, he's just huge. And he used to be in the Navy. Yeah, just doing the old top-up course, you know. Who knows where it might... Before University of Life, now I'm here for real, know what I mean? And I'm sat there going, yeah, and he went, yeah, and I don't have to pay for my accommodation, so... Not bad, and I'm sort of sat there going, yeah, brilliant, you're not exactly who I wanted to bump into. And then he said an amazing sentence. We'd known each other for about half an hour, and he went, yeah, so, the old weekend there. And I, you know, he kind of wanted me to, so I have to go, what happened at the weekend? Well, put it this way, if there was a World Cup for shagging, me and the partner would have made the semi-finals. Which is just such an amazing sentence to say, you know. So British. I mean, we shag well. I mean, we'd have, you know, fallen at the last hurdle, but we certainly did well. But the whole university's pretty much sex, drug. Well, you think it's going to be sex,
Yeah,
drugs,
it's
rock and
horrible
roll,
though, isn't it?
Whereas the reality is more just kind of, did you take my milk? And that's pretty much it. You know,
it
just
gets
bickering, just bickering about, you know, putting water on your frosties.
I don't know whether it's better at school that they let you believe that you're going to get to university and find out you're cool and really into stuff, or whether someone should sit you down and go, here, listen, I'm not being funny. If you're boring now, you're going to be boring at university.
Did you write? I wrote poetry on my first day at uni. Yeah, it's bad. Yeah.
Why?
Not on the walls in my own waist. I mean, like, you know, in a little, you know, book. And
That would be real.
yeah, but
Have you still got it?
No, probably. It was on a... Do you know, the worrying thing is I had to give that computer to my cousin or my auntie, so I don't know who. And there was part of me when it was... You know when you have one of those moments, we gave them the computer, and then you think, about 6 months later, you just have this flash of, oh God, that they're going to read, oh, here we are in university, dear, all alone.
I've met a man from the Navy.
Yeah.
I never thought I'd feel this way.
It wasn't that would be great. Dear diary, you join me in turbulent times. But anyways, yeah, you can text us in on 64046 or email us on russell.sixmusic@bbc.co.uk even with any of the any first day stories that you've had. The next song, this is a really great song. It's Subterranean Homesick Blues. Hopefully it's not going to be me singing Little Donkey again. We'll get into that later. You listen to Six Music. We've had a few emails in, very nice ones. We've had our first negative email from, I'm just going to read out, so it's quite funny, from Ian Skinner, who says, "Hey newbie, you're not playing enough music, stop he chat, and don't talk over the intros." I think he means stop the chat. I don't think we've mentioned He-Man yet.
He chat could be a brand of chat.
But we were thinking, the only interesting bit is, I haven't talked over any of the intros. The only intro I talked over was me singing Little Donkey, and I know it's a big hit, Ian. I'm not going to deny it.
I'll say this, Ian. If you're making a mixtape for your girlfriend, go out and buy the CD, you cheap swine.
Wow.
He's clearly recording the songs, isn't he? That's why I don't want you to talk over it.
Do you reckon it is?
Yeah,
Okay,
cheap
well, I'll
swine.
tell you what, Ian, send us in an email for, you know, your girlfriend, and we can do a quick mention. He's probably getting furious now. Oh, we probably picked on someone. We're not picking on him, we're retorting to someone who's really hard, and we're going to
He
get...
started it.
Yeah,
Sunday morning, chill out, sunshine. It's not even 10:30.
3 of us, one of him, he's not got.
Can you be that angry at 10:19? But he is, anyways. But everyone else has sent in nice messages. The best one we've had, we've got a really great one here, says, from a bloke called Webby in Chippenham, who we know runs a really excellent chip shop. It says, best wishes on the new show, Webby Chippenham. And then it says, supporting the Hodgson for Mayor of Chippenham campaign. Bring back public flogging. That's the main thing he's leading with. That's my friend Will. I don't know if he's listening, but he's fantastic. And I once shared a hot tub with him, and we were talking about war poetry, but that's another story for another time. Now, this is the part of the show we're going to do a thing called Am I Normal? Now, you know those things you do when you're all alone? You feel compelled to do them, the quirky little habits. Have you ever wondered, am I normal? Am I the only one who does this? Or is there a generic habit that everyone does, you know? This is the part of the show we're going to bring people together, create a sort of community of quirky freaks. You can text us on 64046 or russell.sixmusic@bbc.co.uk. Now, the reason why we thought about doing this is mainly because I've got a touch of ADD, and John is massively riddled with OCD, I think it's fair to say. Now, John, every single morning, now you can judge this listening at home whether or not you think this is normal. John has a list of things that he does every morning, correct?
Correct.
Now, normally, if I was going to write a list of stuff to do, which I don't, I would write, you know, send that email, go to shops, get that thing, and do something like that.
Bit vague.
Bit vague. Now, John opens with, wake up.
That's not... well, yeah, okay.
Yeah, exactly. if you do one the day before, I've seen the list. I've seen lists that say, wake up, have shower, have breakfast.
Bang.
Yeah.
You've been up half hour, you've achieved 3 things. How good do you feel?
But you're obviously going to do those things, aren't they? You can't give yourself a
Yeah,
tip.
but they still count. You can wake up, you cannot wake up, you can have a shower, you cannot have a shower. The decision to have a shower is tantamount to doing something.
But you shouldn't be going on a point-based system if you've had a shower. You shouldn't be sort of sat there going, yeah, 10 bonus points for me, rub myself up, have a kiss with Beryl.
Well, for a start, don't listen to me in the shower.
Yeah, well, you crew. He was brilliant the other day, because John, as you may have noticed, has got like a lovely, deep northern voice, and yet whenever he's in the shower, hope there's someone who takes care of me. It's really great.
Great acoustic in our
You're
shower.
really lovely in there, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, me, John and Mark have often listened outside. Sometimes I'll very often wave a lighter. That's how good you are.
Yeah, well, you know, when my album comes out, don't be disappointed.
But I don't... Sam, do you do lists? Does anyone out there do lists? Are you like John? Because I don't think that's normal. I think you should
Not
wake
in the
up...
way John does lists.
Yeah, I think you should just wake up and think, hey, what am I going to do? I'm going to do this and be impulsive and kind of, you know... Are you going to tidy your room?
Impulsive
Hell
days
no.
are fine. Impulsive days are fine, but
Yeah, but
they'll
you've probably
wind
got
down.
it brackets impulsive.
Yeah, I probably would do, actually. 10:37 till 10:43. Just chill out and have fun. Maybe do something interesting.
Yeah, exactly. What are you doing? Having a granola bar? Wacky. Is it on the list? Well, it is, but, you know, it doesn't have to be on the list.
The worst thing is, if I did have a granola bar and it wasn't on the list, I'd put it on the list. It's just about ticking things off on the
Hang
list.
on a minute. What, so retrospectively, if you...
Oh, you can put something on a list retrospectively.
But that's not how it works. Because then, you know, if something wacky, like that time we went to that gay club, we never thought that we were going to go
Do you want to just do a little back sentence there?
Okay, that time we went to the gay club dressed up.
Thanks.
That's all right. No, but John is supporting the excellent comedian Alan Carr on tour, and he said, "Hey, do you want to come get some food?" So I said yes, and we went to a gay club. There wasn't any food.
We were told there'd be chicken wings, weren't we?
Yeah, but it was an excellent adventure. But we didn't plan doing that. You didn't wake up and go, "Today I will go to a gay club."
No. But then I didn't put it on the list the day after. I only have lists for days I need to do stuff.
Hang on. So
and let's be honest, you only write a list for other people. You don't write a list for yourself. You want someone to find the list and go, geez, that John, he achieved some stuff.
Well, you're going to put in a time capsule.
Maybe I'll keep them, staple them together, pop them away for invoice.
That'd be great. Some kid in the future. Jon Richardson lived with people he didn't like. First wife, Erica Eleniak, had
showered every day. Unbelievable. Do you often shower, Russell?
Very, very seldomly.
Yeah, exactly.
You know my system. What I like to do, I'll just hang around street corners, and if people throw change at me, time for a wash. That's the way. I've actually had that happen outside the Lizard Lounge, 23p in Bristol. But yeah, we've got the news in a minute. We should probably go to that, I guess.
Not yet.
Oh, no, not yet. No, we're just chilling out. John, have you got what have you got for this part of the show? Have you got
right,
a list?
Well, am I normal? Should we do that? Because
yeah, let's do the
first. Made me look like an idiot. Let's confirm to people that I am actually.
Well, no, because I'm interested. Like, you can please text in if you do this. If you think list making, I think basically what I'm going to try and do through this show is make you better.
Okay, fine.
I think you're a sick man, and
we can improve.
The problem is that I think I'm better than you at achieving stuff and doing stuff in order.
Which is
your life is
in
a mess,
order.
and you lose stuff, and your car. We drove here last night in Russell's car.
What
right?
a drive! What a drive!
I drove so he could have a nap because that's the kind of guy I am.
He put his hand on my knee. It was lovely at one point.
It was more of a slap than a grope.
Yeah.
But it was a sort of, it's a, hey, we're doing this, aren't we?
Yeah.
Right? But your car stinks.
What?
Because no list in the last 3 years has said, clean the scum off the inside of my car because it stinks. It stinks, doesn't it, your car?
Yeah. I'd say it's a legendary car. I mean, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah, just
holds
smells good.
pants, everything.
Yeah, everything you could want is in there.
No, it's not. Everything you once wanted and threw on the floor and now is worth nothing, but you haven't thrown away.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong. Let's do your first Am I Normal. Let's go into that.
Right. I live in a world of order, right? Now, I was sure people did this. I've asked a couple of people. It turns out most people don't, right? But about 3 or 4 times a day, I'll take the coins out of my pocket, I'll pop them into ascending size order, £2 at the back, 5p at the front, I'll pop them back in my pocket.
See, that's wrong, mate. That's deeply wrong. Who does that? Think of all the fun you could be having in that 30 seconds. If that's me, I'm having a curly-whirly, a wham bar, I'm going somewhere. Maybe I'm watching Timor, I'm having fun. You are going, right, that's me 5p, that's me 10, because surely you've got to get them in the order, and then they're going to put them back into your pocket, and they're going to be all higgledy-piggledy.
Yeah, but that means you get to have more fun later on.
You can't class that. Is that on the list?
It's not, that's never on the list. No, and if I've got a curly-whirly and a wham bar, I'll have the curly-whirly and a wham bar, but if I'm caught on the tube, I've got nothing better to do, pop the coins in ascending order, have a little smile at myself, pop them back in the pocket. No one else on the tube knows my coins are in ascending order, so if someone quickly comes on and goes, I need 23p, quick, I go straight to the 1p, straight to the 2p, 20p in the middle.
Yeah, but that's the way John's brain works. The other day we were talking about if we could travel back in time, and John said that he'd very much like to go back to Egyptian times to see if a big giant made the pyramids.
Yeah.
Just so that he could then be on a train in the future, smiling to himself because nobody else knew that the big giant had made the pyramids.
Yeah.
I love the idea that people are going to be in some way jealous. They go, God, that guy's just rearranged his coins. He clearly knows what time it is. Yeah. It's ridiculous. Now, it's time for the news. We should get away from this. We're going to do more of these. You can text us in on 64046 or email russell.sixmusic@bbc.co.uk with the little quirky things you do, or read them out. We'll have some fun. Now, earlier, when there was a bit of a pause, that wasn't my fault. That was the computer. Adam, wasn't it?
It was the computer.
Yep, exactly. Adam's producer. He knows all about these sort of stuff. And we also heard the news. Now, we're going to do our own spin on the news every week on the half hour, every hour. John, what's your first story of the week?
Best story of the week for me was in The Independent. No need to qualify that, but I just want people to know I read The Independent every now and again. About octopuses, right?
Is that it? Is it octopuses or octopusi?
I think it's octopuses because I think it's from the Greek and not the Latin. I think that makes a difference.
Nice, you look so smooth there.
Yeah, thanks very much.
That's all right.
Studied. 3 A levels, grade A. Octopuses, right? They can feel pain and stress, right?
Yeah.
So they're going to reclassify octopuses on the same level as monkeys. Because at the moment they get cooked alive and tested on by people, and no one really cares because people got just an octopus in it. But it turns out
people do often say that.
Yeah, I can't get down the street without people saying, "Yeah, just an octopus in it." But the other thing is, right, this is my favourite thing about the octopus. They go out and find pretty shells and take them back to where they live, and they decorate their little caves where they live with shells. And then every few months, when they get bored, they chuck them out and they go and find new ones.
Touch of OCD about the octopus. That's why you like the story. Imagine if you had 8 hands. How many lists could you write? That'd be fantastic.
Do you know the worst thing is, one of my other things I have to do is if someone punches me on my left arm, I have to punch the right arm, right? You'll never see me with one black eye. It's unsymmetrical. If someone punches me on the left arm, I can feel that all day. My left arm feels heavier.
Controlled violence.
So I'll hit myself on the right arm. Same with walking. If I walk over like a manhole cover, you feel loads of bumps on your left foot, so you have to stand on one with the right foot.
God, you're so troubled. I love you so much, but it's so wrong, isn't it? Also, if somebody punches you, imagine that. Me right. Hey, yeah, someone stabs you in the right arm. Hey, give us that bloody knife. I'm not going away asymmetrical, you fool. There we go.
Yeah, down the middle, vital organs. It's the worst thing is first of the month. You know, everyone's going, ha-ha, pinch punch first of the month.
Oh,
ha-ha.
That's got to be hell on earth.
What, John, what happened to you when you were younger? When did you start? When did you first do that? Because that's so, like, when normally you actually get hit, you get hit and go, oh, that really hurts, oh, but there's you going, that really hurts, but it probably looks silly, so I just...
You must be able to feel it, though. Do you know what I mean?
And you feel it. You feel it and you go, oh, that's that time that Mad Barry beat me up.
And it doesn't bother you that there's nothing on the left-hand side?
No, I'm not going to hit myself.
Sort of leaning over, tilting to the right-hand side a little bit.
So I'll lean over to the other side.
Or walking faster with the right foot, because it's got less bumps on it.
I don't worry about stuff like that. Wonderful.
You do, though. If you're walking along, you won't walk over 3 manhole covers.
That's correct, yeah, but I've never hit myself in a... Oh, you'd be an amazing boxer, imagine that. just at the end of a fight like that, you kind of go, and never mind the winner. God, he hit me 5 times in the leg. 1, 2, 3, 4, better. 1, 2, 3, better. Oh, God, I'm so lonely.
I think there's a bigger barrier between me becoming a boxer.
I'd love to see you. That'd be great, wouldn't it? Because I did a bit of octopus reading up when you told me you were going to talk about this, right? And what's interesting is octopuses only live for 6 months as well. But that's what. So they're obviously consumed with, you know, all this kind of shells. Oh, I don't like them shells. Oh, I die. But apparently, the male octopus dies shortly after having sex, which speaks volumes about the male psyche.
I die a little inside after I have sex.
Yeah, but you don't go, you know, that wasn't...
I do that.
That was an impression of an octopus, but that says a lot about the male psyche, doesn't it? You know, just the idea that the lady octopus is gonna, now if we have sex, you will die. Yeah, it's fine. No, you're gonna die. You do, because all your mates die. No, it's fine. And it just makes you think, you could do, imagine the trade you could do in, like, octopus blow-up dolls. If you were down there, just to kind of go, hey, all the love of an octopus, none of the death, come here. Who doesn't want it? Get your hands around that. But I thought that was quite interesting. What would you do if you had 8 arms, though? Just imagine
spend all day punching 7 of them.
Yeah, exactly. So, am I normals? We can get into that. Sam, what's your first am? What do you do?
I live opposite a church, so my am I normal is basically every time the bell chimes on the hour, I have to shut my eyes. It's stupid. I have to shut them for at least 3 of the chimes, if not all of them.
That's a teaser for what's coming up. Does anyone else shut their eyes when bells are mentioned? But yeah, text us in if you've got any comments. There's been some really great emails already
coming in.
We had there was one about a lady who has, when she climbs up the stairs, she has to count the stairs that she's counting. But then when she goes downstairs, she doesn't count the stairs. And when she drinks, she gulps and sings a little song. I might have got that totally wrong. I'll read it out properly in a minute. This is Bob Marley. Well, you lot have really delivered. We've had some absolutely fantastic emails in about stuff. Whether or not you're normal. This is from Jack Frost, London, and it's probably the best opening to any email I've ever had. It's concerning Am I Normal? Jack says, I regularly curse my wife for waking up and immediately and religiously showering, dressing and breakfasting every single morning, including weekends. How great's that?
That's beautiful.
I didn't think it was going to be like this when we got married. Waking up, washing, eating.
But that's horrible. My last girlfriend was, when she got hungover, it meant she get up earlier.
No, I haven't. See, there's more to it. Then he gets soft. I then realised that I've been up for 2 hours and haven't actually had breakfast or showered, shaved, or even dressed properly. I quite like the idea he's in a harlequin sort of outfit, getting annoyed. And I look like hell, I need to start again. So your mates' lists aren't so stupid as they sound for naturally lazy gits like us.
Yeah, well, and he's got a wife. People like me get wives. Unbelievable.
Incorrect. If you
Only
listen
in
out.
England.
Well, no, what he's saying, so your mates' lists aren't so stupid as they sound for naturally lazy gits like you and me. So that's me and him.
Right.
So I'm going to get the wife.
So basically he's saying I should be king.
And P.S.
That's what I'm picking
Hang
up.
on. P.S. John should be king. That's
Yeah,
a fair
cheers,
point.
mate. Cheers, mate. Cheers, Jack.
There's a really great list. This is for you. This is from Becky whatever. Fair enough. My heart goes out to the young man with the change. Oh, that's great. We should get tattoos made of that.
With the what?
With the man with the change. That's now your name. The young man
right, yeah.
with the change. I quite like the idea. That's quite. My heart goes out to the young man with the change. Oh, if I was 60 years younger, I'd very much like to. I also arrange my loose change into order of size, and I'm slated by my mates.
Yeah!
When I make tiny mountains of shrapnel on tables, as well as tearing up beer mats and putting them back together again, and, brackets, in more extreme moments of fidgetiness, emptying everything out of my pockets and handbag and putting it in colour order from red to purple, then black and white. She sounds great. Now, Becky whatever, I'm not going to read out your email address, but I am going to pass it on to John. You two were meant to be. There was a really great one here, Am I Normal? It was about honking ladies' breasts. Can anyone remember what it was? Right, there's a girl called Hannah that when that's the one. Is it normal that I want to honk every pert breast that I bra fit, or knock one droopy boob into the other like those metal executive balls? Do you reckon that's normal?
Utterly.
It's gone beyond the realms of whether it's normal or not and into the realms of whether it's legal or not.
Have you?
We're getting into tricky territory.
It's illegal for us, but if I was a bra fitter, it'd be impossible not to. You'd have to do that occasionally, wouldn't you? You know? Would you? Don't look at me like that. We
Don't look at me like that. That's normal. It's all right.
Sure, everyone's had to think about that. No, we're talking about this. The one I've been thinking about this week, whether or not this is normal, this makes me look a bit like a psycho. But when I see cakes, I have an overwhelming urge to punch them in their face. Like cakes. I was in a sweet shop in Zurich, and there was just like mountains of cakes, and I could hear my head going, "Come on then, Russ. Now's your time.
Let's do it.
Let's punch them cakes in the face. Let's smash them up real good and stuff." Like, I don't know if anyone else... Have you ever felt that desire? You know, you see a cake...
Yeah, well, when we were on holiday in Spain this year,
Yeah.
they had that fridge, like that chest fridge, just full of cakes.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to jump in it. It was like a bath. It looked like a bath, but full of cakes.
Yeah. They were just so much fun to punch. It's because it looks so tasty and, like, it would give you such...
It's interesting that you've described the cake as having a face, which is quite a good
Oh, I
one.
draw a little face in it beforehand and a little mouth bubble that says Russell's dad.
Help me.
What do you think it means? What does it mean? I don't... Yeah, that was a
What
bit
would
wrong.
be your best cake to punch? Like a wedding cake in front of the bride and groom.
Imagine that, yeah. That would be great. Imagine being like a mad uncle. Just like, just punching a wedding cake, yeah. Or a big... no, that would be wrong, but it would be quite funny. You know the cakes where the ladies jump out punching her? That'd be wrong, but it would be quite funny.
Can anyone else hear this cake talking?
Do you reckon anyone's ever done that? Do you reckon anyone's got a little bit drunk and, you know, somebody's popped out of the cake, "It's alive!" and then punched, you know, it in the face, you know, not lady, not boy. Although if you want to hit a girl, that's fine. Is it? I imagine.
No, moving on.
Hit boys or girls. What I'm saying, don't be sexist.
Just hit both. If you're going to hit a girl,
But do
hit
it
a boy.
properly, whatever
And I tell you what, if John's going to hit a girl, he has to hit a boy as well. That's the way it works.
Yeah.
Well, we've got some more ones that we can read out. It's here. Oh, this is from who we are. But it just says KWC. When I'm having a full English breakfast, I always ensure that the beans, brackets, never touch the eggs, or I can't eat either. If the breakfast is made at home, it's okay, as I can build a sausage wall in the middle of the plate. But if it is a B&B, then I have to give elaborate instructions. That's fantastic.
So the bean can touch the sausage, but not the egg.
Yes.
And can a bean sausage touch an egg?
I don't know. You're going to have to get back to us, Keith. Bean juice ideally should not touch bacon, but I can. I can be flexible about this. Oh, this is so lovely.
I ain't mad.
No. What's great about it? He goes, "This seems like common sense to me, but a worrying precursor of mental illness to my wife. Bean juice ideally not touch bacon. I can be flexible about this. I'm not weird." Cheers, Keith Nottingham.
Can I suggest that Keith, in future,
Yep.
buys a tin of cannellini beans,
Yeah.
which are basically what baked beans are, but not in the sauce. Just put the beans on the side, then those beans can go wherever they like. Just let them loose, let them free. Have tomato ketchup, and then, you know, sort your own baked beans out as you go.
That's a fair point. Oh, there's a really nice one here from Sarah. "Bye-bye Archers, bye-bye Radio 2, hello Russell and mates. Keep up the chat. It's helping hugely with the 4,000-word essay I'm struggling with on the medieval English textile industry." Well, we've got a bit of time travel later, so maybe we'll pop back and help you out.
I think
with
we
that.
can help you with that.
First day at uni, this was the terrifying thing for her. She's a very mature student. You'd have to put that, it's fine, you know, unless you're really old. And
She's probably like 23, though. She's just not a loser like
Well,
most
it says
students.
here, and at the same age, she was the same age as most of the parents of her fellow students. She wanted to grab a spare one, student that is, to walk around with so she didn't feel totally out of place. The worst bit was having to phone my best friend to give me the courage to walk into the refectory on my own. How pathetic is that? It's not pathetic at all.
That's horrible.
It's the scariest thing in the world, walking into a room that's full of people when you don't know them. How you know, and you kind of and having a phone is that's how I finish my gigs, when you have to walk through a bar, because you know people are either going to walk up, hey, that was great, or that was rubbish, and that was flipping rubbish and no mistake. But either way, if you just put your phone to your head and go, yep, no, okay, yep. But the thing is, my imagination, I'm quite good with stuff like that, but it just runs dry straight away, and I always find myself going, yep, no, the monkeys are loose. the monkeys are loose. Like, so if anyone ever listens to it, and if they've been to a few of my gigs, they'll notice at the end of every gig that I have a conversation with somebody who apparently runs a zoo full of monkeys, and they're loose. Now, we just got one in. Somebody can't use a public loo if the oh no, I can't read that out. That's horrific.
I was reading about public loos yesterday in the paper. Is it periresis or something, where you can't go to a public loo because you get nervous? You know, it's a real problem. People can't go to the toilet in public loos and they're scared to leave their house. I think it's called periresis or something like that.
What, and they're scared to leave the house?
Well, because they know that if they go anywhere, like if you want to watch a football match or a film and you can't go to the toilet and you really need the toilet, you're going to have an accident.
Well, text us in if that's you. I've got no problems pooing in toilets.
No, absolutely not.
God,
Well done. Do you want an applause for that?
What a sentence to say out loud. I can only apologise for that.
Real man.
That was, oh yeah, I'm a real man. I got no problems pooing in toilets. I've got tattoos to prove it. Hello, you listen to Six Music with me, Russell Howard, my friends Sam and John.
Hello.
How you doing?
So, a few things to clear up before we move on. First of all, this is for Matt Garner. The Mazzy Star track is Fade Into You. He's been after that for ages, so there you go. But we've just had a text in. How cool's this? Me talking about punching cakes and that. This is a text. Hello, Russ. My girlfriend squeezes cream cakes in supermarkets. You are not alone. Good luck with the show, Brendan. How cool's that?
I'm not having that.
That's
Someone's
fine.
got to buy them cream cakes. I don't mind fictional punching of gatos, but not ruin products that people need to buy.
That's fine.
No, it's not. That's a waste of a cream cake.
No, it's not. Where was that voice from? Is that what you do when you get angry
That's
about
what
cakes?
happens when I see cake misfortune.
Yeah, who's that got my pavlova?
Oh, pavlova. Now that'd be good to punch because you get
That
the
would be.
crack.
Yeah.
And then the goo.
That's how Eat and Mess began. That Eat
Yeah.
and Mess must have started with an angry chef going, oh, what's the point? Oh.
I think it probably started at Eton,
Oh, yeah, all right.
so he probably talked like, oh,
Oh, yes. Oh, God, I'm annoyed.
I've cracked the meringue.
Exactly. Look, I've cracked the meringue. I'm such a fool. I'm going to have to cuff it now.
I've made a terrible mess.
In fact, no, I'm just going to ring ding-a-ling-a-ling, Jeeves, come in here. Let's bang this meringue together like a couple of sailors. Stuff like that. That's how chefs talk and that. Now, we've done all the Am I Normal. Sorry if we didn't read yours out, but we've got them, and there are loads of genuinely great ones. We're going to read them out next week, and we'll move because some of them are, like, we were genuinely giggling at them. They were great.
We have to check with legal first, don't we? Before
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. They're the real. You know who you are. Those were really good. I mean, we can never read them out, but they were fantastic. Now, this is the part of the show where we're going to do a bit of time travelling. Time travel. Where will you go? Space? Prehistoric times? Luton? You can go anywhere. So it's a fairly simple premise. Basically, if you could travel back in time, where would you go and why? And I'll start the ball rolling. I was thinking about this week. One of the funniest things I ever saw was the time when I was about, I don't know, maybe it was about 15, and a cat jumped on my friend Tom Stroud's head, and he screamed out, "What the bloody hell's going on here then?" And I don't think I've ever laughed like that. You know, and there was a cat literally on his head. And it was such a simple... You don't have moments like that now. You know, if I saw a cat jump on someone's head, they go, oh, bother a cat. But not, what the bloody hell's going on here then? But that's a simple one for me. But the other one as well, I'm going back to caveman times.
Yeah?
I quite fancy going back there. Who's coming with me?
Yeah, I'll go.
I'm alright, thanks.
Oh, you're not coming?
I'll take passenger.
Yeah, you come. You ride up front, shotgun and
Damn
that.
right.
The reason I want to go back is to the moment when the first man or woman... you know,
Well done.
Yeah.
Well, they almost slipped up there.
Exactly, invented fire, and I'm going to turn up with a lighter just as he arrives in, and he's like, you know, he's invented fire, and then I pull out my lighter, click it on, and all the chicks are like, oh, well, yeah, bit late there. And, you know, take loads of stuff back.
All
just
the
to-
chicks.
Yeah.
How do you imagine cave women look, Russell?
Hot, real hot, they're wearing
Are
kind
you
of...
imagining Chitara from Thundercats?
Yeah, a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
She's there, she's like, oh, that's an excellent fire you got there. Thanks, Chitara. Do you want to go into the cave and bang? She's like, "Rah," yeah. But it'd be really cool. Basically, the main thing I want to do when I travel back in time is, like, it'd be really cool to go back to, like, caveman times with, like, a Rubik's Cube and a Slinky, you know, just to impress them and stuff. So they're kind of, hey, how's that work?
Slinky would properly fascinate them.
Yeah, that'd freak him out, wouldn't it? Did you invent
stairs,
this?
though, do they, in caveman times?
Yeah, they do. Actually, that's a fair point. I tell you what, I'd do it down the back of a dinosaur's scales, then it'd work. So, John, where would you go if you could travel back in time?
I'm going back to the 1950s.
Hey!
Yeah, just like that, in my banana machine.
Yeah, well, that's the horn your car plays, isn't
I
it?
thought about this for ages this week, because I was thinking about you to go back to specific moments. I wanted to go back to the England versus Argentina game and just go into the dressing room and say to the linesman, hey, I'm not being funny, I've just been chilling out with Diego. He said, you're so blind because you touch yourself too much that he could probably do a handball and you wouldn't even notice, right? So I thought about doing that, but then I thought I'd go back to like a full time. So I'm going back to the 50s, because I've only ever seen it in black and white on TV. So when I imagine the 50s, it's in black and white. And I just want to go back and see it in colour.
It was like that film.
I can't imagine that they had colour.
Have you seen Pleasantville?
No.
That's basically a film, isn't it, where it starts off black and white, and then as the town gets more adventurous, it
colour
gradually
comes
becomes
in,
more
yeah.
colour. It's really cool.
Because there was stuff, I think I read an article about all the actors and that were doing each other at the time, and you just don't imagine them doing that.
It was a really great arc. It was in The Guardian, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was.
Actors that were-
Properly dirty.
Yeah, actors that were doing each other.
It was called I Do Believe You're Doing Me.
Yeah, exactly.
Cracking article. But then I imagine they talk like that as well, and they can't have done when they got home. You can't imagine them going, oh, I do so terribly need the toilet.
Yeah.
But then, you know, so I'm going to go back and just watch a few people in the 50s, and I'm also going to buy a house in the 50s, because I'm tired of speaking to people who say, yes, I bought my house in the 50s, I paid 3p for it, now it's worth 4 million.
Yeah.
I go, well, I rent, and I will do until I die.
Oh, listen to that, ladies and gentlemen. This is the part of the show we like to call Buy John a House.
Yeah,
John needs
I'm
a-
fine with that.
But we rent together, we have good times.
Yeah, occasionally. We're busy guys, though.
Aren't we busy guys these
Yeah.
days, eh? What with our radio careers and all that, and learning all the buttons that we've yet to learn. So, but if you could travel back in time, don't forget you can text us 64046 or email russell.sixmusic@bbc.co.uk. Anywhere you go. Sam, where are you
It's
going?
going to be personal. I've got to go back in time to sort out my wrongs. I'm going to be my own life coach. That's
Oh,
what
yeah?
I'm going to do. I'm going to go back, and when I was 15 years old, I was the kind of cream jeans and shirt dresses kind of a guy.
Yeah.
Bit on the large side. If I could go back and turn myself into the 90s Fonzie, it'd be amazing. And then I could even take it further and be one of those cool guys that hung out outside of the school gates on dirt bikes for no real reason.
Well, they're always called Clint, aren't they?
Yeah,
They're
absolutely.
the bane of my life, those sods.
Yeah, but
because
they-
you're like 12 years old, and you know you're trying to impress girls with your moves and your wedge haircut and your shell suit and stuff like that, you know. And I once learned how to dance off Andrew Johnson.
The now striker.
Yeah, no, not Andrew
Not
Johnson.
quite.
Quick, innit?
Yeah, but there's a mate of mine called Andrew Johnson. I can remember being outside a school disco, really wanting to impress a girl called Amy McVeigh with my dancing. And he went, no, you're doing it all wrong, Rash. Got side, left, side. And I was like, I can't get it right. I can't. You'll get it right one day. And it was a lovely moment.
I'm picturing Dirty Dancing.
Yeah, in many ways it was like that.
No one puts wrestling in the corner.
Nobody puts me in the corner in that. Oh, Fizzy, I loves it. So yeah, well, you can text us in the places that oh God, that was a lot, wasn't it? That was a really bad
Too
one.
many words at once there.
It was.
Just one at a time.
That's the way my brain works.
With a
though.
gap in between.
I've said this before. I'll say it again. I wish I was deadpan, because then I could look up to my brain and kind of go, "What's the next thought? Here it is. Tell it." There you go. Next thought. Here it is. Tell it. But I look up to my brain and it's like, "Pick me, pick me." What? You're not
Why-
even a joke. I'm dressed as a joke. So that's pretty much what I have to put up with on a regular basis.
Why not put the things you're going to say on a list? Tick them off as you do them.
We're going somewhere very specific now.
We are. Now, you can text us in with the places you want to go, time travel-wise. This is a really nice one. It's from Alex Breeze, where he would travel and why. He would, I'll read it out. I want to travel back to a couple of years ago when I was on holiday with my mates in France, and a bird flew in the house, and my mate Adam ran out and shut the door, leaving me in the room with the bird. It was massive, Russive. It was massive, Russell. I'm not fooling around. I want to travel back and shut the door on him, see how he likes it. That's from Alex in Coventry. I'm sensing there's real problems there. I once got told a story by an Irish girl that she had a recurring dream that a big bird used to arrive in the corner of her room and just go, "Hello, Maeve." Freaky. This is quite nice. Can I please go forward to 2015 in order to find out whether Back to the Future Part 3 was right or not? That's from Pete. That's a fair point. Here's another one. I'd like to travel back to when Mowgli left Baloo and tell him not to marry but sell the singing bear to a jungle circus instead. Would have been a very different film, though, wouldn't it?
So we're allowed to go back to fiction.
We're allowed to go back wherever, that's the beauty of it, you know? Although I like the idea that this lady here wants to extract bile from Baloo, which is pretty funny. This is quite full on, this one. I'd go back to 1985 to tell a virgin me that sex does not equal love, and not to go out with Martin Plaskett, as he's a soul-destroying user. Probably should have read his name out. You are
If you're listening,
Plaskett.
Martin, hello.
Yeah, you soul-destroying user. And to tell myself to use alcohol or drugs as a comfort instead of food, so I'd get the piss taken out of me less.
Whoa.
To stay in school, kids. Easy on the drugs.
I think someone needs to be listening to a different radio show.
No, I like it. I like that. Martin Plaskett is a sex-destroying loser.
Yeah? Have you encountered Martin?
Yep.
Yeah?
Yep.
You recovered?
Just about.
Swine.
When did you lose your virginity?
Are we doing this? Whoa, where did this come from?
I just look
You
at
turn to another email, then you look at me and go, "Excuse me, John, are you a weirdo again?"
No,
Because
no.
we haven't done you being a weirdo for a bit, so why don't we do that?
Well,
I'm not
no,
saying
no,
I lost it at a weirdo time. I lost
How
it at a
dare
normal
you.
time.
You-
But if we're going to discuss these things, it might be useful while we're listening to a song to say, "Here, in that next bit, just when you get comfortable, I'm going to stare at you and ask you an immensely personal thing."
Oh, come on, mate, it's fine. But
16.
What are you on about personal? I win. Yeah, I win. God, it was grubby.
Technically, you think you were younger?
Yeah.
Well, then you lose, because the right thing is to wait.
No, absolutely. Yeah, Plaskett. You're listening, Martin. But the reason why I asked, the reason why I asked that, you can't. What about the other day when we were bored and I said, let's go down that sperm donor clinic, and you said, no, let's not go down there in case you're a Jaffa.
Yeah.
You said that to my
I
face.
did say that,
Yeah,
yeah.
really loud.
Yeah, to avoid this sort of thing, where maybe we've done a show one week. Oh yeah, everyone, hey, listen, we do this thing every week where we do something cool. Today we're going down a sperm donor bank. We'll tell you about it next week. Next week, emails come in. Here, Russell, how did it go at the sperm donor bank? You go, ain't talking about that, nothing happened, dust came out.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't want that, and I don't want that for you.
That's very big of you.
Yeah, I'm a nice guy.
Look, I get the impression you'd lend me some of yours if things went bad.
Yeah.
But no, I lost my virginity when I was 15. It was horrible because it was the scariest thing in the world, wasn't it? Like, you know, the whole kind of, like, people in our school. I remember there was a kid in our school called Pete who, the day after he lost his virginity, it was horrible, right? He was about, like, 14, and he came in, and I went, oh, can I borrow your calculator? No, you can't, virgin! And you're like, what are you on about? You only lost it yesterday. But I lost mine at an army camp when I was 15, and it was horrific. I was really bad. And I rolled over onto an ant's nest afterwards and got bit really badly. And sort of wandered back to my friends who were also on the army camp. I just lost my face, literally, like, there were cuts and bruises all over my right side of my face. It would have been horrific for you, mate. You'd have spent an extra 20 minutes cutting the other side of your face. It was
Covering them in
unbelievable.
ants. It's all the terminology, though, isn't it? No one had a good first time. That's why they call it losing your virginity, because
Yeah.
you're supposed to want it back.
But all you're thinking when you're losing it for the first time, well, you know, obviously, is, oh, I'm losing my virginity. I can't wait to tell my mates. And, you know, and she's thinking exactly the same. Oh, I'm losing my virginity. Can't well tell my mates. You're not actually.
Is that what she told you?
No, she was saying it out loud. It was a very impersonal thing. She was actually texting. She wasn't. We didn't have mobile phones back then. Grubby. So, here's another one. I think I'd travel back to 1996 to relive the glory days of Britpop. Specifically, Shed 7's time in the limelight. I can chase rainbows all over again, with the added addition of actually being able to get into gigs this time, which is pretty cool. Have you just got some emails about time travel?
Yeah, I got one from Graham Burke. If I could go back in time, I would either go back to the time of Nostradamus, so I could just follow him around making slightly more accurate predictions than him. I think that's quite nice.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people going back just to destroy the dreams of people who lived at the time.
Yeah.
I don't think that's strictly fair. Nostradamus thought he was right. It's not really fair to go back and go... You're not saying that, are you? I'd predict what he was about to say, write it down, show it to him, then I'd say everything he was going to say just before he did.
Well, I was going to do a similar thing with David Hasselhoff. You know when he wet his pants the other day, just to arrive just before he wets himself at that airport, and just go, "All right, David, you're going to wet your pants," and then suddenly he wets himself, and then appear every time he urinates for the next year just to freak him out. It's a similar thing to the Nostradamus. I'm not really using my powers for good. What's the emails you've got, Sammy?
I've got one which is, it's quite an oblique one. My ex-boyfriend had a date in the early 90s, blue tacked on the wall beside his bed. As in a date, as in time, not a date as in a lady, I presume. I was told
Or a
that it was... That'd really be a cop-out. Yeah, I was told that it was a date of the recording of Nirvana's Unplugged in New York show.
Oh, really?
And if he was ever to discover a time machine, he would know exactly which day he wanted to go back to. Now that's made up, surely.
That's great.
That's something to tell girls, surely.
Yeah, no, that's...
I think, you know, had I a time machine, I'd definitely go back to the recording.
That's great, though, isn't it?
Unplugged in New York.
Yeah, but
know what I mean?
that's a really good idea, though, isn't it? Just to kind of, you can imagine you kind of...
That date, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. On that one there, oh, it's just a little... What, you want to have a look in my cupboard? What's that? It's a rudimentary time machine. Oh, yeah.
I'd like to think he changes it depending on what girl he's with. So if he finds out she's into Nirvana, that's what he said. But if he's, oh, what's that date there? That's when I first tasted raspberries.
Absolutely, but then, what kind of girl is that?
I don't know.
Just some girl he
She
met.
just really likes raspberries.
He met her at a fruit and veg store, so like that. Yeah, but that's why he keeps it blue tack. That's why he doesn't write it, because you can manipulate the tack. So she's like that. Hey, it's different. Oh no, 1066. Yeah. That's because she's got a patch. She's got a patch, and he's like, yeah, that's. I go back to Hastings because you know when he took it in the eye, like you, dude. You sexy lady. We've got a really great message here. We've had a few of these actually. So something's obviously happened on the road to John. It says. Time travel-wise, I'd returned to John's show in Runcorn, which was great, by the way.
Thanks very much.
That police pullover yarn, I need to know how it finished. He need to know how it finished.
Right, is that how he's punctuated it?
It says, yeah, need to know how it finished. Craig from Runcorn. So what happened? Tell us what happened.
I can't remember how far I got. I can't remember. I seem to remember hating the gig in Runcorn, so I'm glad he liked it.
Yeah, well, you're very good.
Should have told everyone else. And when he says John's show, let's be honest, it was Alan Carr's show, and I was
so short.
Getting in people's way for
You're brilliant.
But I had a flat tyre, right, earlier this year, my first ever flat tyre, right? And I got nervous. I pulled over, right? And I phoned the AA. But I was nervous because I knew the AA, they're bigger boys, aren't they? They come out, they point
they're very much bigger
If you don't know
boys.
anything about cars, you have to just go, yeah, I broke that.
Yeah.
Right? So I got nervous, but the police came because it was the M1 near Leeds, right? So they came up behind me and he sort of beckoned me into his car and I was nervous because I don't deal with the police.
That's properly scary, that, isn't it? Because you start thinking, oh God, what have I done, you know, and you're sat in the back of, when you're sat in that back bit of the car.
Well, no, it was a Jeep. I had to sit next to him, so I had to climb up into this Jeep, and he saw me open the door, then there's a pause of like, and then my little afro came up behind the seat. Yeah. And I was really nervous.
That's John's hair, by the way, isn't that a friendly?
Yeah. I do a glove puppet before I deal with anyone. Hey, Afro Steve!
That would be great, wouldn't it? How fast were you going? I better ask little Tommy.
He was driving. He's had a drink.
So what was the question?
I'd have to have puppets on both hands on.
Was it the usual, obviously?
I got in and he said, is everything okay? I panicked and said, yes, dude, wicked, right? I've never
Did
said
you
that.
really?
I have no idea why I said
that's
that.
great.
Fell out of my mouth.
Well, that's the worst thing you can say. So is everything okay? Yes, dude, fine.
He said, it's just a flat tyre, I phoned the AA. He said, great. Then he said, can you read the number plate on the vehicle for me, right? And it was about 5 metres away.
At which point you're terrified.
Yeah, because I thought, if he can't read that, he's not really a policeman, and now I'm in his car, right? And I thought, well, probably there's some sort of visually impaired killer on the loose who's killing prostitutes, and he thinks it's me.
That's exactly what you think.
Naturally, it's your first thought, isn't it, right? So I read the number plate, nailed it, straight off, all the digits, all the numbers. I thought, I got away with this.
But what was your brain thinking whilst you were saying that?
Just read the numbers, John. Calm down. Look him in the face. Right.
Don't think about what you might have done.
Oh, right, no, well, then I read it, right, and I thought that was me off the hook. Then he went, can you tell me where that car's registered to, right?
Oh, God.
And we were in Leeds, and I went, Bristol, and he went, oh, you're a long way from home. And I thought, yeah, that's kind of why I bought the car, do you know what I mean? No one buys a car without the intention of getting further from their house than they can walk.
Fair point.
So now I'm really panicking.
Did you say that, though?
No, I didn't say that to him, I'm a coward, he was a policeman. But what I did do is I got carried away in the fear that he thought I'd murdered a prostitute. Right, and I was driving a mint green Ford KA at the time. I did look at him and say, whoa, mate, it's a Ford KA. Even if I had murdered a prostitute, the body wouldn't fit in the boot. Tense.
You should have got a laugh for that.
He didn't go for the laugh, you know, not really. He was more dealing with the facts of he probably thought I'd murdered a prostitute.
But that's the worst moment, when you want a laugh there, so he goes, oh, that's a joke. You don't want him just writing a note down. Yeah. So next time you ring up the DVLA, oh, hello. Oh, you want insurance, do you? Where are you driving then?
Saloon.
Yeah, no, exactly, just ringing up, I'm going to need a big van. You're listening to Six Music with me, Russell Howard, and my friends John and Sam.
Howdy.
Excellent. Now, you heard the news, the proper news earlier. Now, for our spin on the news, Sam, what have you found?
We got a fab one here. In eastern India, eunuchs are being drafted in by authorities to sing outside the homes of tax evaders to try and embarrass them into paying up. Now, apparently eunuchs can also be castrated men, transsexuals and hermaphrodites, which is nice. And they sing and threaten to bare their bodies. And they were, they were deployed in Bihar, India's most lawless state.
That's great, though, isn't it? But apparently it works. You just you can't see that working in England. You just some bloke go, Marie, yeah, you better pay the gas bill. There's a bloke out the front.
Don't make me. Don't make me.
There's a bloke out the front.
But it works as well because they reclaimed £400,000, rupees, one Wednesday alone, and the eunuchs got 4% commission.
Oh, that is a result for the eunuchs.
That is.
Do you reckon there's anyone who's unemployed in India doing the old tuck your willy between your legs trick, just so they can sing outside and get some of that sweet dollar?
Yeah, that'd be well funny to have someone going, I better pay me. Hang on, he's just got him tucked behind his legs.
Oh,
Put your checkbook away, we ain't paying.
Yeah, exactly. He's doing the bulldog. That ain't fair. I ain't voting for that.
Isn't it something like, I read the story, it's only like 2% of people in that area pay tax. So something's got to be done.
Really, yeah, the thousands.
Something's got to be done. But that's what's so lovely about it, that, you know, they're obviously sat there going, right, what can you do about the people that don't pay their tax? Should we get a system where it's automatically taken from the money they earn at work? No, it's not going to work. Should we have, like, so that we can send letters threatening them with legal advice? No. How about that lad with no knackers? He can croon. Let's put him outside on their lawn. He can sing by their bins.
When I first heard that, my first thought was there's got to be some sort of link between a government that thinks it's all right to parade eunuchs and transsexuals around and a population that doesn't feel enough respect for a government to pay its tax, right?
Yeah.
It's quite a sombre thought. But then I thought back to our tax adverts and Adam Hart Davis wheeling around on a bike going, "Here, have you paid your tax? Do, please."
Yeah.
And I thought,
Or I'll
God,
show
we live
you.
in a boring country. I'd much rather have dancing eunuchs.
But, well, same here. Well, it depends what they were singing at you. You know, if it was You're Gorgeous by Baby Bird, you know,
That's pretty.
you know, it'd be horrific. But if it was, you know, some Rufus
Well, they
Wainwright
threaten
stuff,
to
I
bare
wouldn't
their
mind it.
bodies as well, which is
Yeah,
the big finale. It's got to be.
But that works all the time, doesn't it? Like, because eunuchs are really feared, which is ironic because they probably can't do anything. And they used to look after people for that same reason, because there was no threat of sort of sexual violence or anything like that. They used to
Kick
look,
'em.
but kings used to leave eunuchs in charge of their many wives. I may have read that in a story somewhere. My granddad might have. Do you know what I mean? That sounds like a fact that's got no. Here, Russ, no eunuchs look after ladies. Do they, Grandad? I'm only 6. Doesn't matter. Listen up. But isn't that the way it works in India? That, you know, the eunuchs are kind of feared, and it's really horrible because, like, pimps have got hold of them and they use them as kind of like beggars because they know they can. They literally just go out and go, "Give me some money, yeah, or what? Or I'll show you my gear. You know, I'll show you my meat and no veg." So you go, "Okay, pay up. There you go. I don't want to see that." You know, but
Not outside my house.
yeah, I wouldn't. No, I don't.
You wouldn't?
It's just no, I wouldn't do it. But
That's
Through
too
insurance and-
far.
what?
If I was a eunuch, you wouldn't catch me dancing outside someone's house, you know what I mean? That's too much.
Well, it is.
Well done for speaking up in favour of the eunuchs.
Thanks. Hey, if you're listening, you know. Oh, that was. I didn't do that. I didn't do that squeaky noise. That was me moving a chair. That wasn't me doing the impression. I'd like to know what songs they sing. If you could
I
text
think
us.
they did Pay Your Tax, I've Got No Knacks. I
Nice.
think it's an album track. Yeah.
Hey, see, I wouldn't mind that though. That would make me laugh. But it does work though. 4% commission. That's all right. Text us in on 64046 if you maybe you're listening to this. It's it's digital, so you could be picking it up in India. That'd be quite cool.
You were saying we've got a listener in America before.
We have got a listener. How cool is that? Who said go Russell, go John, go Sam?
Well, howdy.
There was also somebody who sent a message in saying Sam has the sexiest voice in radio.
I'd like to thank my girlfriend's mum.
Oh, really? Nice.
Not in the way that perhaps that came out, but yeah, absolutely.
She's not listening. It's fine. Hey, remember what you told me about her the other day? So now there's
Lies.
No, it is all lies. I'm joking. Okay. All right. Yeah. Next, we meant to do this earlier, right? But this was a really daft thing. We're reading out the emails for time travel. Right? How weird's this? Right? I got an email that said, Russell. Is it you that we saw that we... Oh, no, God, I've lost it. Oh, no, yeah. Russell, did we spot you yesterday lurking in TK Maxx in Chilwell, Nottingham? No, I wasn't there.
It's nice. We should do this every week, though. Text in if you haven't seen Russell somewhere. You know,
Yeah, it's
not
just-
spotted. Here, Russell, didn't I not see you in an ice skating rink in Nuneaton Borough? No, next week. Spot where I haven't been again.
Yeah, send in messages where you haven't seen us, where you haven't seen me,
Or
Russell.
indeed where you haven't seen anyone. I
Yeah.
didn't see David Bowie in Chiquitos Bar and Grill in Manchester this week.
Yeah, that'd be great. Do that. That'd be really cool. Now, also, we meant to do this at the beginning, but you may have noticed it's not the slickest of shows. But we're going to try and sponsor like a football team, like a Sunday League team. And so if you want that to be your side, then send us an email on russell.6music@bbc.co.uk as to why it should be your side, or you can text us on 64046. Any reason. And like every week, what we're going to do is we're going to do a match report with you. I quite like the idea of like an under-8s Bristolian team. I think that'd be really great. Just talk to a little ruffian. Yeah, we played quite well this week. It was a good time, you know. Tom done well in defence. I think that'd be nice. But anyone can text in, you know, or email us or whatever, and we're going to find a football team. I think that'd be cool.
BBC Six Music.
This is our first ever show. We're all very excited. I hope you're enjoying it at home. It's pretty cool and giddy doing it, I'll be honest with you. Now, this is the part of the show that I'm really excited about. It's called Hero of the Week, which in the future, you guys listening at home, God, that sounded properly cheesy. You guys at home can ring us up, but you can, sorry, you can text us in 64046 or email russell.sixmusic@bbc.co.uk with people that you think should be the Hero of the Week. Now, the first one was chosen by me, so this is a really genuinely great story. I don't know if you know this, but there's a thing called the Homeless World Cup, which you know, after the disappointment of the proper World Cup this year, I don't know if proper is the right word, I might get in trouble with that in a minute with Lindsay, but there's a Homeless World Cup, and it was in South Africa, and the lady we're about to speak to now is Lindsay, and she was voted, unless I'm very much mistaken, the female player of the tournament, which is fantastic. I think she's 17, she's from Scotland, and we're going to speak to her now. Hello, Lindsay, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hello, mate, how are you?
I'm good, yeah, good.
Oh, congratulations, by the way. You're the very first Hero of the Week on Six Music on the Russell Howard Show. How are you?
I am good, thank you very much.
That's all right, it's an absolute pleasure. So tell us about the Homeless World Cup.
Basically, it was just the Scotland street soccer team, but, well, we went over there to South Africa and basically did what we love doing best, played football, and everybody got awards at the end, and then I got voted best female player.
How fantastic.
My coach, David Duke.
That is nothing to do with the coach, let's be honest, Lindsay, that's all about you. What kind of a player are you? Are you a flair player?
Yeah, of course.
Excellent. If, I mean, this sounds horrifically sexist, but if you could compare yourself to a male player that we all know, who would that be? I pitch you as a sort of a Cristiano Ronaldo figure. Is that fair?
I'd love to be Ronaldo.
Excellent. Well, there you go. So how does it work? How do you get? You know, I don't want to sound facetious or anything, but how do you get selected for this? How does it? Because it must be amazing to sort of represent your country and go to South Africa.
Yeah. Well, where I stay at the moment, Aberdeen, there's a project called the Foyer, and it's like 16 to 25-year-olds, and people stay there and get support and stuff. And then there was posters regarding the Homeless World Cup. Yeah. Then I started going to trials, and then got through to more trials. And then I finally got selected for the team, and then we started training together as a team. Oh, that's and you're 17, aren't you? Yeah. That's absolutely fantastic. How great did that feel? Were you really nervous? Oh, it was a chance in a lifetime.
Yeah.
Brilliant. One thing I won't forget ever.
Yeah.
Best thing in my life.
Oh, good for you. And is there anything? Has it led to anything? Like, do you play for like a football team regularly anyway?
Yeah, well, not before the Homeless World Cup, but after that I was in papers and stuff, and I'm now playing for the Aberdeen ladies team.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's absolutely brilliant. Congratulations. Yeah. That's fantastic. So it's literally changed your life?
Sorry?
So has it changed your life, would you say?
Oh, definitely. Well, before that I wasn't playing for any teams or anything, I wasn't getting involved, and then I started going to the trials and stuff, and now after South Africa I'm playing for Aberdeen ladies, and it's in the Premier League and stuff. It's brilliant.
Oh, that is absolutely... Yeah. You're going to have a film made about your life. You do realise that? Honestly, that sounds... So, but how cool is that? So you, like, you know, all the other girls, you know, they've been training and working hard. You just rock up because you've just played for your country and you're so good. Where do you play? Whereabouts? What position?
Sorry? Oh, striker.
Oh, nice. And what's your celebration of choice?
I don't really have one.
Oh, really? God, a cool customer. I'd quite like to play you at football, which I've never said to a girl, but it'd be really good, because I consider myself quite good at footy, but is there any way we could, is there any way we could come up and play football with the girls at Aberdeen? Is there any way we could do that?
I'm not sure. I'm sure it could be arranged.
Yeah, that'd be really...
We wouldn't to bar this year, though.
Oh, but you would properly pace us. How great would that be? It'd be fantastic.
You play a very physical game, though, Ross.
Oh, definitely. You have to be physical before you get anywhere.
Oh, really? Nice. Listen to that.
Can I ask a question, Lindsay? As a striker, do you have respect for a good defender, or do you consider that they ruin the beautiful game?
That's right, Lindsay.
I have respect for the defender.
Yeah.
Yeah,
no
definitely. Everybody's the same at football. Just give it your best, so it's not as if people are better than others.
I would argue, though, our defenders, Lindsay, not people who are never good at playing up front in the first place. Because, when you're little, you don't really want to play in defence, do you? You want to score the goals.
No, yeah, exactly. Everybody wants to score their goals, but...
And eventually, depending whether or not you're duff, you finally make your way back until you're just a goalkeeper. And then, and then you can be fat, you can jump around. Whereas people who are strikers, people who are 17 and are representing their country, and they're still strikers. It's genuinely great. Well done, you. I hope, you know, I'm just really excited. It's really cool. So what does the future hold? Do you reckon, have you scored any goals this season?
I've played 2 games, 2 games so far, and I've scored 1 goal.
Oh, good for you.
So it's on it.
That's all right. It's absolutely brilliant. Good luck, Lindsay. Well, thank you very much. You're our first hero of the week. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
All the best.
Well done. All the best. Take care. So, I hope if you're just tuning in, you're listening to Six Music, the Russell Howard Show with my friends John.
Hello.
And my friends
Hi there.
Hey, hope you're very well. Hope you're having an excellent Sunday. You've just missed, or you may have just heard, our first hero of the week, which was Lindsay Cooper, who is a 17-year-old girl who played for Scotland in the Homeless World Cup this year in South Africa, and she was voted the Female Player of the Year. And I guess a year ago she was homeless. She's now playing for Aberdeen Ladies in the Premier League and is pretty much, you know, I was getting genuinely I pretty much fell in love with her there. I've got an image of her like as a proper no-falling striker slamming them home. But the great thing is that's going to be on the website, so you can, you know, you can read more about Lindsay if you'd so like. I certainly will be. Oh, that's certainly really growing. I'll certainly be watching her train. But, I find that genuinely uplifting. How great is that? Because you must be, I don't know what it's like being homeless, but, it's that thing of going, it must just, you're in the gutter, you're staring up, you think there's nothing I can do with my life. In a year's time, she's in South Africa playing football, player of the tournament, and now she's a proper footballer. Oh, I was going to swear then, but it's genuinely great, isn't it? So, but what you can do, listening at home, you can text us on 64046, or you can email russell.sixmusic@bbc.co.uk, and you can nominate your hero of the week, and we'll read them out next week, and we'll have an interview with them, and stuff like that. After the show, we had a few this week, but they were mostly like mums and stuff, and, mums are great in that, but not as good as Lindsay. Lindsay's the king of the world at the moment. This is Rehab by Amy Winehouse. Oh, in a minute, by the way, we're going to do, we're moving into the final hour of the show, our first ever show. We're going to be doing Overheard Conversations. So you can text us on 64046 or email russell.sixmusic@bbc.co.uk with the things you've heard on tubes or trains or planes. This is the part of the show called, oh, by the way, it's Russell Howard on Six Music. My producer Adam has just pointed that in my face, so I had to shout it out. And I'm here with my 2 friends, John and Sam.
Good afternoon.
Hiya.
Good afternoon. It is, you're right.
Oh, that was spot on.
Yeah,
Frank.
exactly.
Unbelievable.
Sam raising his hand there in celebration. Now, Overheard Conversation. Basically, this is the part of the show where like everyone hears that. When you hear those bizarre things, you kind of, did I really hear that? Was that someone on the tube? This week, I've heard the following, right? God is a woman, fact. I could murder a bacon sandwich, all put together. That's a wonderful juxtaposition of thoughts, isn't it? 1 minute, theology, next, oh, num, are you hungry? I had a great one here. Honestly, Marie, his dick was so big, I wanted to call you. Which is just fantastic. And I heard someone else outside the Hippodrome in Bristol, who's quite drunk and he was eating chips, and he shouted out, "How do you know that I'm not Jesus?" And a couple of reasons why. A, you're wearing a shell suit. That's the major one. And B, you're riddled with tattoos. And I'm guessing, if Jesus did come back, he might be tatted up. Who knows? Maybe he's a modern guy. What have you heard, John?
I was in Skipton yesterday and I heard one, right, because I went in Morrison. I love Morrison's, right?
Hey, who doesn't, John? Although we should point out
all the
that
supermarkets are available.
They are, and I quite like...
They don't stack their goods quite as nicely as the said supermarket. They put it on a nice cart and you can't help but buy stuff, and it's 2 for 1, and I was buying it anyway. Anyway, so I was in Morrison's.
There you go. That's a real insight into the wonderful world of John. It's on a cart. It's 2 for 1. I'm in Magic Land.
No one's forgotten it. So I was in Skipton, right? Did a gig in Skipton, lovely gig.
Yeah,
right?
That's simply not what you said.
In a cattle auction, which smelt of manure.
Yeah, but
lovely people.
Yeah, you did not say that.
I did say that.
You liar.
What did I say?
You said, "Hey, I tell you what, that place stunk right bad. It were all over me shoes and stuff." Know what I mean?
I never said any of this.
They were a great good Morrison's. That put me in a good mood. 2 for 1, fish fingers. I've got crap on me shoes.
Is what you actually said.
I never said that.
You did.
If anyone's listening from that gig, it was a great gig. I enjoyed your company. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
So I was in Morrison's, right? And there was a power cut. I'd never been in a power cut in a supermarket before. Everything went dark, right? And I heard this guy go, "Oh no, I've never seen anything like this in my time. No. Till guy." And the other guy went, "How long have you been here?" "Oh, about a year and a half. Never seen anything like this though."
Oh, that's fantastic.
Great moment.
Beautiful.
Power cuts, Sammy?
Well, I was in a restaurant on Friday, and
God, it's so sexy, his voice, isn't it? Straight away, like if I said that I was like in a restaurant, you're like, "Well, I was in a restaurant," and you think, well, instantly stuff's going to happen. It sounds like you got out of that.
Secret agents.
Yeah.
No, but
you sound like you rode in a Lamborghini on the way to that restaurant.
Something like that.
Carry on.
Well, these city boys came in and they started big with, "Have you told Tony that you often come into the office with elastic bands hanging off your cigars?" Which is a hell of a quote.
Yeah.
And then followed up by trying to actually wow a lady with the line, "Now, I'm an enthusiastic kung fuer. They pair you up with some funny people, though. Of course, she was only little and he was only over 6 foot. And when he punched her in the chest, it hurt." It was great.
Enthusiastic kung fu. That's a phrase if ever there was. Now, so those are our overheard conversations. You can text us in on 64046 or email russell.sixmusic@bbc.co.uk. We've got some already that have come through. They're really great. We'll read them out in a minute. Now, but this is a very exciting part of the show. It's time for John's, because John doesn't really like the music that Six Music plays. So every week I said, well, you can come on, you can play the song that you want. So this is a part of the show that I'm calling...
It's 100% belter time. My name is Jon Richardson. Oh, you know it. I like these tunes. These tunes make me swoon.
Guys, what are you doing?
Get out. So I did that jingle. John wasn't aware of that, but we did that before the show. It was a
Thanks
lot of
very
fun.
much.
That's all right.
I thought you caught me.
Yeah.
I do talk like that.
You're a rapper in many ways. Now,
yeah.
what's your first 100% belter?
We're going in big this week, Russell. Right, I'm
Okay.
not messing about now. This is not only a song.
Do you want to stand up while you deliver
I'm
it?
going to stand up one. No, I'm not going to stand up.
Go on,
because I'll
stand
get
up.
it.
You'll feel
All right,
real good.
All right. So, it's not too... Oh,
Yeah,
God, I
like
like
Bob
this.
Geldof. He's good.
Yeah. Just give us some money, right? Just give us it. We need it. This is, it's not just a song, this.
Deliver it
it's
to
a
the
part
nation.
of my life.
Yep.
I mentioned earlier that I dropped out of Bristol University. I'm not ashamed of that. What got me through the year and a half that I did do was the film...
Testify!
Labyrinth, right? And this is a song from that film. It's probably the song from that film. It's David Bowie in a tight pair of leather pants. And if you're a straight man, there's nothing wrong with being aroused by that, I'll tell you that now.
Absolutely nothing wrong.
Any man that can do that with crystals is a friend. So this is the song...
What about Richard O'Brien?
No, not Richard O'Brien, he's wrong. So, you had to do that, didn't you? It was
Sorry,
nice, it
I'm
was
so
all about
sorry.
David, and now you've just made it weird now.
Sam's just been sharing chocolate out that he's had for the entire show, and he's only just given it out. You've been waiting until 12 just to get us ready
that
for the
high
last,
sugar.
last push. Now, we need you to text us in on 64046 or email russell.sixmusic@bbc. Oh, God, I'm going to do a burp.
Professional.
That's not great radio, is
In
it?
many ways, a build-up, though.
There's probably people at home making food, and I'm just about to belch. Sorry. You can email us russell.sixmusic@bbc.co.uk because we're still trying to find the adopted football team. We've realised there may be a flaw in our plan that we're trying to get a Sunday league football team, and what with it being a Sunday and all, they're probably out playing football. So if you play on a Saturday, then we're more than maybe midweek. It's fine. But yeah, email us in, and we want to hear. We're going to do like reports with you every week.
We're going to go and watch live, aren't we?
Yeah, well, we'll go and watch
That'd
you
be
every
pretty
week, you know, but it needs to be in the Bristol area for that. I think that'd be easier. Well, you know, but that limits
Or
it.
anyone on the M4 corridor.
Yeah, we'll travel. But you need to know a bit more about us, I guess. My name's Russell Howard. I'm a comedian. I'm here with Jon Richardson, who's also a comedian.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm here, and my friend Sam, who's a writer.
How are you doing?
And me and Sam went to school, and me and John met a few years ago. What have we been up to this week? What have I done?
I went to school as well, by the way. Let's not... Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, which is
Me and
amazing.
Sam went to
because
school and have studied, and John just walked into my house 3 years ago and started talking.
and talking in a lovely way.
Hey, I know stuff. Look at me list. Look, it says here, walk into stranger's house. I've done that. Tick.
Tickety tick.
Well, yeah, but you're, you know, what was amazing about you was that you managed to combine school with business. You know, let's not forget you had the first business I had was I was really weird. You know, the jobs you have when you're little. I was a car washing. I had a car washing business with Ralston Such, who was the vicar's son. Quite the little industry we had going when we were about 12, and we had 5 customers, but 3 of them died. And we became seen as like a curse in the village.
That
and,
will happen.
Yeah. Well, it was horrible though, because you're like, it's that horrible like 12-year-old thing. You go, oh, they're dead. Get £3 a week off them.
And they
It's
never
pathetic. Yeah, exactly. Well, no, you know.
I had a business, it was a rubbish one. Me and my mate Lee used to go over to a supermarket and buy fun-sized chocolate bars, right?
Yeah.
It works out about 2p each, I think, when you buy them in a big bag.
Do you
Tipped
sell
them
them
into
off?
a cardboard box,
Yeah.
right? Went round on a Sunday night before the Monday morning and think, Mum's only forgotten the packed lunches, right?
Oh, my
Put the
God. How
box
old
on a
were you?
skateboard, pulled the skateboard around my estate, saying,
Yeah.
do you want to buy a chocolate bar? And I remember, I only remember one call that we made where we
Yeah.
knocked on the door, right? And the little girl answered the door and said, "Oh yeah." And we went, we're going to sell some chocolate, right?
Yeah.
So get ready to have your lives changed, right?
Was that your opening line? That is
Selling big.
I've got a lovely image of you, your big afro haircut sticking everywhere. You've got maybe a bow tie on and your dad's suit.
Yeah.
And you're kind of squishing.
Hello, would you like your life changed?
Well, let's reenact that. I'll be the little girl.
Right.
Hello.
All right. Exciting business opportunity for you today. Who likes chocolate? Who likes not having to go out of their house to get it? Everyone does. I've got some chocolate for you, right? And she said, Got to go and ask my mum.
I've got to go ask my mum.
Right, off you pop.
Bye. I like your hair, by the way. It's nice and curly and fun.
Leave it out.
Mum! Mum, there's a weirdo at the door wearing a bow tie and he says my life's about to change if I have chocolate from him.
She went in and she said to her mum, there's some guys selling chocolate. I want to know if you want any chocolate. And we heard this torrent of swear words. Tell him to... And this girl just came back and went, she says we don't need any thanks very much.
Oh, nice.
And I don't think we sold the chocolate bar, actually. I think we just ate them all ourselves.
My brother... Well, we did that once with... I probably can't tell that story. Needless to say, Comic Relief didn't get their Dodge Day. That was really horrible. We did a run around the village for Comic Relief. This is when we were about 11. And we raised 200 quid. And we said, oh, you know, we'll give the money. And we meant to, but, you know, we just didn't. So, sorry about that, Lenny. Well, have we got some emails in?
Yeah, I'm just reading them. I think it's Overheard Conversations.
It is.
Straight into it.
We're on Overheard Conversations. Let's fire away.
This is from Miriam Miller.
Which is a great name. I think I know her.
She knits.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, when I lived in Manchester, they had a cow parade.
Nice.
Of course they did.
Yeah.
Which consisted of lots of cows. Bit patronising, Miriam, back off. Painted up and deposited around the city. Fiberglass ones, not real ones. Including one in Piccadilly train station, mocked up like Danger Mouse. Anyway, I worked in a pub which was next to the station, and one Saturday night I was stood outside about 1 in the morning when I overheard the platform announcer come over the tannoy and say in a really irritated manner, "This is a safety announcement. Could all passengers please refrain from riding the cow?" To be honest, she says it made me want to leave work and go and ride the cow. Probably
Absolutely.
not the effect he had in mind.
Yeah. I'd love to ride a cow. I want to shave rude words onto a cow, but that isn't the same. But it does make you feel good. What have I got here? Sam, what have you got over a conversation?
I've got a pretty nice one. I overheard two lads no more than 10 years old talking about how fast the first 4 years of their lives had gone, which is from Natalie. And
is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's really lovely.
That'd be amazing.
That's really great. So they're both 10.
94.
That's fantastic, isn't it? Like 1 minute, you know, just getting in for it, you know, and then verbs and that, innit? That's great. I've got one here. This is properly scary, right? I was on the #1 bus travelling from Bristol city centre towards Temple Meads when a sweaty man with a face from the past got on and sat next to me, which is presumably he's got, like, you know, a very industrialised face, you know. So he gets on and he sat next to me, despite there being free seats aplenty. That's quite freaky already, isn't it? I remember I went to watch a film at the cinema. There was nobody else except for... It was the core, and I was in Newcastle, and these two old Geordies sat right next to me for the entire film, and it was about travelling back to the centre, and they could have sat anywhere. I thought, oh, they're going to kill me, they're going to kill me, they're going to kill me. And at the end, they went, bit far-fetched for me, that. Well, it's called the core. Anyways, right, so as soon as the bus pulled away, he turned to me, this man, and asked, oh my God, this is the Overheard Conversation, do you think it's funny for people to die? I stammered something back, probably, please don't kill me, but he never uttered another word to me. Wow, that is scary. That's not so much. That's not so much an overheard conversation as a threat. Go on, John. What have you got?
He ends. I'm going to let him off. He ends his email with, "Oh, the best, wrong boy."
That's
right.
fine. I know Wrong Boy, and he is an absolute right. Wrong Boy, if you're listening, you are mad, mate.
Big up free mailing.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I mean? He says a couple of days ago on a crowded bus, the bus stopped suddenly and one man bashed into another one, and by way of an apology, he went, "Dem's the brakes." I like it when people are cocky. I was on a train when a guy went into the toilet, right, and he couldn't... It was one of them swishy door toilets, and he couldn't work out how to use it. And it's really embarrassing when someone's watching you go into the toilet and he couldn't work out how to use it. He just looked at me and went... and then locked the door, right? But we pulled into a station as he was in the toilet. Yeah. So it all filled up. Everyone was waiting to get off the train. So when he opened the door again, there was about 15 people staring at him in the toilet. It's really embarrassing. And he just went, "Oh, hello."
Oh, really?
Really nice.
That's
really
great.
nice.
But you, talking about the bus story when somebody banged, you love that, don't you? Nothing fills John with more joy than watching somebody terrified. Like, do you want to tell him what you did to me in Edinburgh?
Fair.
Right. At the Edinburgh Festival this year, no, 2 years ago, right? I was very scared because, you know, that you turn the lights off and it's dark at night. And it's very, very scary, right? He, before I'd arrived at the flat where we were staying, had put a walkie-talkie underneath my bed.
Oh, this is unbelievable.
Underneath my bed.
Story, but you leave me time for the riposte.
All right. So he puts it underneath my bed. So it's the first day of the Fringe, right? And it's if you haven't been, you've got to go, right? But it's about 3 in the morning. I'm just dropping off, and I just hear this in the darkness. Oh, blood. And so I'm like, oh God, like running, and he's all like, "What's the matter, Russ? You all right?" Yeah. I think there's a ghost in my room. Oh, no. I'll just forget about it, go back to bed, I'll probably be fine. Yeah, cheers, John, you're probably right. Yeah, no probs, no probs. And then he sort of go back. Oh, bloody hell. And, like, he waited about 15 minutes. That was it. He thought, in his brain, he's going, right, I won't do it again. But, you know, and so I get back to sleep, nearly asleep again. Oh, don't think about sleeping. Oh, I wouldn't sleep on that side if I were you. Just because I'm a ghost doesn't mean I won't do that. So then, at this point, I hear laughing and I realise it's him. So I come back out into the corridor. And do you want to take it from here?
Yeah, well, I'm going to point out, right, the walkie-talkies were on in the flat because you bought them to put in my bed, and then another comedian said, that's a bit unfair, it's his first fringe, why don't you back off, right? So if you hadn't bought the walkie-talkies, I wouldn't have been able to do what I did.
Yeah,
right?
but if that shop wasn't selling cheap walkie-talkies, we wouldn't have got into this problem in the first place. Curse those magic beans.
Right, so at this point, you're frightened. I know you're coming into my room,
Yeah.
right? So I turn all the lights off so it's pitch black and stand just inside the door, so that as the door swings open, it doesn't hit me, but you're coming right upon me.
Yep.
So you swing open the door, and I, from the darkness, say, get out of my room.
Oh, God. Like, but he literally... So all I can see is this shadowy figure and this massive afro hair going, get out of my room. And I was so scared. I fell over. I fell backwards onto a clothes horse, banged against the wall, and then heard him go, like, laughing his arse, properly laughing his arse off, because he can enjoy nothing more than that. But I got my revenge. I ate his Mars bar. He didn't like that, did you? I got an angry text from him the next day because I woke up early and ate his Mars bar, and he sent me a text.
Next time, if you're going to eat my Mars bar, replace it. I was looking forward to that. I'm going to you up.
Yep. Stuff like that. We've had a text in where we didn't see Russell at Harrogate Comedy Club a few weeks ago. Ian and Jodie. Well, that's a matter between me and the promoter. I can't really get into, but I did do it 6 months ago, and it was good fun. And it's got really great tea places in Harrogate. All
Betty's.
Yeah, they're great. I don't know if anyone listening's ever been to a Betty's tea room. They're fantastic. It's full of old, and the cakes, you want to take a boxing glove.
York and Northallerton as well.
Yeah, the one in York is great. I heard you just want to wander in and go, a handbag, and you know all the old ladies are like, nice, nice. He knows what he's doing. Pavlova, please. You're going to eat it. I'm going to smack it in its face. Anyways, there's a really great overheard conversation here, which isn't really an overheard conversation, but it's very nice. She saw, yesterday, this is Isabel Adam, she saw a very small girl eating an imaginary ice cream, which she shared with her daddy, who bit the top off it, which she thought was hilarious. Good, because in that situation, I would have been resentful if he'd taken too much. It was aces. That sounds really great. That would have been really lovely, though, if they're eating an imaginary ice cream. Let daddy have a bit. All right, daddy. Oh, not that much, you fat git. But, you know, that didn't happen. Now, this is the part of the show that I'm really looking forward to. It's where we're going to play God. And we have a jingle for it that I should be able to find. That isn't that. The jingle will be a bit rough. Oh, no, it isn't that. I was supposed to be doing news stories, aren't I? I'm an idiot. Right, so we've been doing our news stories to add on to the ones that we heard in the news. And this is one that I found out this week. There's a man in Brazil who is addicted to attending funerals. I don't know if you saw that, which is it's a fairly quirky habit. Apparently what he does, he wakes up every morning, listens to the radio to see who's died, and then if nobody has, he rings up a local funeral parlour, sees if anyone's died there, and he's gone to every funeral in his town for the past 20 years, and he's seen as like a local celebrity. What a fantastic story that is. That's a problem, isn't it? That's a real... And also, but you could really freak him out if he lived in that town by announcing his own death on radio. So he hears it, goes, what? I've only... bit of a joke. But how scary would it be being his mate as well, don't you think? Because, you know, if he doesn't go to a funeral for a couple of days, he starts getting twitchy. He needs the urge. He's going to look at you.
You all right, Dave? Yeah,
you're all right. Yeah, you feel a bit cold there. Do you, you know... He's going to kill you so that he can go to your funeral, isn't he?
Imagine how bad you'd feel if he's been to every funeral for 25 years, and then you die and he goes, nah, I can't be bothered.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're really like him,
if you're the one where he goes, nah, no, he was.
That's enough of that.
The only thing, I've never been to a funeral, and touch wood, I never will. Although that sounds bad, I'll die.
So you're not coming?
No, I'll go to your funeral, mate, but I'll cry all the way through it, and I'll dress up as Madonna.
Right, you will.
Like the Pact.
Everyone will cry.
The only funeral I've been to, I went to my dog Bonnie's funeral, and that was awkward because John's doing a cross, so it was very nice, but I got the giggles. I've told you about this before. It was horrible. I don't know if I've told you, Sam. It's properly horrible. You know when you get the giggles, it's like I got this the other day. I was in the gym in Bristol, right? And it was really funny. This bloke went, "Here, mate, I noticed you've been coming here a few weeks now," and I went, "Yeah." And he looked at me and went, "Do you want some cheap muscle growth?" And I started laughing. I just found that really funny. The idea that you're going to have muscle grow is fairly terrifying, but it's cheap. I'll definitely have some. I made it myself. Homegrown muscle. And I started laughing and then carried on laughing into the change room. And then you realise in that situation, you're just laughing at naked men. So it's fairly... But we were at the dog funeral, right? And my mum said, right, everyone say goodbye to Bonnie. And my brother went, goodbye, Bonnie. You were my only friend. Like that, and hammed it up, trying to make me laugh. And my sister's like, you were the best dog ever! Like that. So I have to top this, because they've been quite serious. And then me and Dad held hands, and Mum said, say goodbye. And you just can't resist going, arr, arr! And Mum was very cross. But it was very good and fun and giggly. Yeah, I quite like that though. Imagine that, addicted to funerals. That's a bizarre
The worst
addiction.
thing was, if he's a celebrity, there must have been a point where a couple must have gone to him, I'll see you at the funeral again. We're getting married this weekend.
Yeah.
Fancy coming to that? And he goes, no, I only like the funeral.
Nice, that's Brazil.
Only when you die.
That's a Brazilian man there, ladies and gentlemen.
Sim, claro que sim.
What does that mean?
Of course it is.
All right. Oh, nice.
Yeah,
say, I like funerals and all that stuff in Brazilian.
No,
Oh, go on.
I can't.
Oh,
I can only say yes, of course it is. That's why I can only have very
Now you
quick
cut him
trips to
down.
Brazil.
I'm a bit like that with my Spanish. I know el buitre, the vulture, and, hey,
Pretty sure that's not right.
el buitre is the vulture.
Boutrier.
Yeah, el
You're not-
buitre, Emilio Buitre-Grenho, who's known as the vulture.
Right, okay.
Which is slightly strayed off point. Now, this is the part of the show which I mentioned about 10 minutes earlier, where we're going to play God. So...
Let's play God!
Now, you can email us on russell.6music@bbc.co.uk, or you can text in 64046 with your suggestions, what you would do if you were an all-powerful deity. The first thing I'd do, I was thinking about this today, I'd make it so that humans, because I suffer from insomnia, I'd love it if I was able to touch my nose and just go to sleep for like 8 hours. If there was a button on your body where humans could just press your nose and you're asleep. I mean, it'd be fairly awkward
What
if
if
you...
you've got a cold?
Yeah, well, I was thinking the worst case is you've got a scratch while you're driving. That'd be the worst. You just touch it, and then you're going to be asleep for a long time. But I'd quite like that. Do you think that's a good idea?
I like the idea of it. I think it needs work. I think the facility to go to sleep at will, but the nose-touching thing, I mean, nothing will get done in Eskimo land for a start.
Nice touch.
So,
Yeah,
you know,
let's get here, baby. We gonna get it on. I still found to come here. Exactly.
Nice idea, though. Nice idea.
Oh, all right. We can have it somewhere else. What, maybe it's on your elbow.
Maybe it's, I mean, you've found a way of getting off to sleep quite recently, haven't you?
Oh, no. Do you want to tell
Do you
everyone
want to tell the
listening?
guys about that?
I've started putting suppositories up my bum. Last we have. Because I've got anal problems, John. We're having a real laugh.
You can't stop sticking things up.
No,
It's like, I went to the
what are you on
doctor's-
about?
I went to the doctor years ago because I was having nosebleeds, and I thought, oh, this is going to be really serious. She's gonna, God, John, we think it might be a brain hemorrhage or something.
Yeah.
And she just went, you need to stop picking your nose.
He
And it
didn't
was-
say
it
that
was
to me.
horrible.
Wait, you've had... Is that what you think? No, I've got problems. I mean, they're better now, thanks to the suppositories.
But they help you get off to sleep, don't they?
They do, actually, yeah. They send my bum to
Did
sleep.
you describe it as like having a lady dancing around in your bum, Russell?
Right, let's explain this. You've got me into trouble. So I've been accused this week of being a Jaffa and having tiny ladies dancing in my arse. What it feels a bit like when you have a suppository popped into your bum, it's a bit like, because your arse is kind of going, oh, no, and you're going, come on, doctor said, doctor might be weird. No, doctor's fine, doctor had a beard. And then you pop it in and your arse is like, no. Ooh, that's all right. And then it feels like lots of tiny multiplying ladies fixing the quilt of your bum. And, you know, falahala, everything's wonderful. And it feels a bit like you've got nice, soothing old women in your bum. Now, I mentioned this to John. I mentioned this, you know, in confidence. I didn't think he was going to mention it on radio. And, you know, but that's what it feels like. There's probably... How great would it be if there's someone at home kind of go, I'm going to have a go on one of them. It feels really great. Again, we've strayed massively off the point.
Yeah.
If I was God, I would do it so that I could feel like that without having to go to the doctors and have a strange man put his finger up my bum. John, what would you do if you were God?
I got a few this week. I cut my thumb this week, right? So one thing I'm having is instant healing for minor cuts the day after, right? Because I know it has to hurt when you cut yourself to tell yourself not to cut yourself anymore. But the day after, it's just irritating because I keep catching it when I'm getting my wallet out of my pocket.
Oh.
I've learnt the lesson.
Hey,
I'm not going to jump over that banister anymore.
Might
but
I
need to get
suggest-
my wallet out?
Well, do you need to get your wallet out, or are you just getting out
You
to...
paying?
Are you getting out to rearrange the coins?
Yeah, that's true.
That's a fair point.
That's true.
What's the
Maybe
other
that's how
one?
I'll cut myself in the future. I want an interceptor-style gun from the Richard O'Brien programme where to follow people around and shoot them.
Oh, I'm having that. Can I have that?
It's in your car, and you shoot the mobile phone of anyone using their mobile phone when they're driving, and their SIM card blows up. That's one I'm having, right? And the
Hey,
other one
can I
want-
use your Zapper gun from
Yeah,
time
you
to
can
time?
have one. You can have one.
Can it do
But you
other
can-
stuff? Does it only ruin phones?
No, it only blows up SIM cards, and it's only in cars. You can't just use it for people. You can't just shoot people with it. Just buy a plastic gun, mate. Chill out. It's
Okay,
all right.
I'll get that. Yeah.
And a third one, I want to be able to cover my mouth and then whisper into it, and whoever I'm looking at, my words go directly into their head. I thought this when we were on the tube on the way in this morning. That guy had his music obnoxiously loud on the tube, and I hate that. So if I could cover my hand up and look at him and speak into his head and go, your music's too loud, why don't you just turn it down? And use it for all sorts of things. Anyone that's getting in my way, just go, excuse me, the young man behind you is trying to get past, and he's too polite to tell you to get out of the way.
That
so why don't you just
that would lead to plenty of
what's that got to
screaming
do with playing God? So God's going to give you... Oh, so
I am God, though, aren't I?
yeah, you're God, but...
I can't afford to be held up on the train because someone's
What I
putting their
like-
bag on the overhead compartment.
What I like is the fact that you're God, and yet you're still willing to use the tube. How great is that? C-list
I've got to get
celebrities...
about.
C-list celebrities give up on the tube straight away, you know, and there's you going, well, I may have created the world and all, but the Bakerloo is a very good line. Why don't you just say to him, oh, mate, can you turn that down? Or it's
'Cause he
going
wouldn't. He'd
to
go,
get nasty up in here, know what I mean?
This is trendy new music. Why don't you just back off, Fuzz? And I'll go, listen, I've got Magic Dance playing, but I don't play it for everyone.
What you should do is just play it louder, like West Side Story.
No, but I
hitting
don't
back.
want to burst my eardrums just so I don't have to hear Amy Winehouse, No, No, No.
Aye, that's a
banging
good
into my
song.
face.
You're a creepy God.
Yeah, well, you better watch your mouth or you're going downstairs.
I'm God as well.
Well, this is getting ridiculous.
This is an impasse.
It's a battle of the gods. It's like gladiators. God's ready.
What's Sam doing? And we'll find out if we're all creepy.
All right, yeah,
You can't
yeah.
wield the omnipotent
Well, I
power
wonder
and
if
not
Sam's
get
God
weak.
is going to be creepy in any way.
In no way is my God creepy. I'm offering moral guidance. I'm going to come down hard on all those whiners that say that it's too soon for Christmas. And I'm torn between being a nice, whimsical God, and when they come along and go kind of, well, that's just too Christmassy, when they go into the Disney store, giving them some kind of Santa Claus the movie style awakening, or to be vengeful God, and just when they go kind of, well, this is ridiculous, it's just November, to have their eyeballs explode. It's one of the two.
Right.
I'm going with vengeful. I know I'm going with vengeful.
See, where do we stand? I quite like the fact that it's like, I'm such an idiot. Like, we went to Starbucks, or, you know, a coffee shop similar to that. Sun Fun. We went into Sun Fun, and and it's all red now, isn't it, in this coffee shop now? It's all sort of decorate, and I'm such an idiot for that. You just go, oh, it's Christmas! Oh, I'm going to have a Christmassy drink! And then you look at your date, you go, oh, it's November the 10th.
Yeah, no, I'm one of them, because I think Christmas is only special because it's, you know, for a short time.
Well, that's right. Well, me and my friend Dan were talking about this, and he put forward the suggestion that it should start on the 1st of December.
Yeah,
that's that's where Christmas
I'll be
starts.
decorating our flat 1st of December.
But it was oh, that would be really
I'll book
great.
a day off.
Oh, really?
Yeah, damn right.
Oh, I'm looking forward to that. But he put forward the suggestion that 1st of December, that's when fun starts and fun goes on, and then it stops, and then you're counting down. You're looking forward to it. And apparently the lights are really bad, aren't they?
But
Or something in
what's
terms of, like-
incredible, the lights went on like 2 weeks ago, didn't they? They're quite. But then we're forgetting that for a kid, it can't come soon enough. So maybe we're just a bit old for this.
Yeah, I guess so. So here we are, we're nearly at the end of our first show. Thanks very much for listening. You're listening to Russell Howard at Six Music, by the way, with my friends John and Sam.
How you doing?
Yeah.
So that's it. We're nearly at the end of our first show. I've had fun. I hope you've had fun, boys.
I've had fun.
It's been great.
We've all had fun.
But don't forget, we've got one last text just been sent in. It's concerning the playing God thing. I've spent my entire 31 years not knowing what my name meant. I found out last week that it means the God of Gods. My name is Parminder, by the way. That's pretty cool.
Nice.
So we're going to have to wrap this up very, very quickly. Thank you so much for listening. Do listen in next week. We have a really great week. Don't forget you can email me at russell.sixmusic@bbc.co.uk. Anything that's been on today, overheard conversations for next week, things you'd do if you were God, am I normal, the weird things you do, does everyone else do them? We had loads, we'll probably read out some of them next week. Where will you go, time travel, where would you travel to, any place in the world, and nominate your hero of the week. Once more, thank you so much for listening. Take care, have an excellent Sunday. See you later. Bye.
BBC Six Music.